About once a month during our regular church year, we have a teach-in. It is a time for all ages religious education. Today, we're focusing on the powerful promises we make in covenant. In just a moment, not yet, I'm going to invite you to form groups of 3 to 4 small groups that are just kind of near you. If you need some more space, you can go ahead and spread out. Those of you online, you can go ahead and unmute when it's time. I'll post the question in the chat then. I'm going to give you the question here in the sanctuary because it's one very simple question. What story do you want to tell about the promises we made to one another at the end of the year? I repeat, what story do you want to tell about the promises we made to one another at the end of the year? Seeing some wrinkled up faces. So why am I telling story language? Everything we do, whether it is history or making a promise that we plan to keep, is a story. We can tell ourselves a story that we were successful. We can tell ourselves a story that we were unsuccessful. We can tell ourselves a story that it will be hard to do something. But at the end, it's all a story. So when we're looking back on today, at some point in June, what story do you want to tell about how we got to that day? What story do you want to tell about the promises we make this year? Take a moment. If you need to spread out, go ahead. We'll have about 15 minutes to have this conversation, and then I'll bring us back together and Joanne with some music. Thank you so much. The powerful promises we wish to keep also require powerful practices. It might be a practice of breathing and meditation, like what we just did. It might be the practice of trying and failing the promises that we've made. We've reviewed a few of the powerful promises that we try to keep here in this nation and as Unitarian Universalists over the course of the month. We began the month with the review of the labor contract, the promises we make to one another in the workplace and with our government. We moved on to discussing ways that we can support one another in being resilient when the times get too hard or it's just too much to go it alone. Last week, we discussed working towards the ability to repair broken promises. Each of us has broken promises in the past, and we're likely to break promises in the future. That's just a feature of being promise-making, promise-breaking, and promise-renewing people. And we discussed the power of covenant. Once again, from the Commission on Appraisal, we are reminded that a violation of covenant by one party breaks the covenant itself, but does not destroy it. The remaining parties in the covenant have a responsibility to continue to do what was agreed to and to seek our healing from the covenant, in the covenant, and through the covenant. But here's the thing. One of the issues with covenant is, despite being such a deep part of Unitarian theology in particular, covenant wasn't really something that the Universalists dealt with, but they got on board in time. It's kind of new. It's new to us as Unitarian Universalists. As a matter of fact, when, again, the Commission on Appraisal was doing the research that guided their report, they interviewed ministers and learned that few of them had received any training in the theology or practice of covenant until the late 1990s, when it became part of seminary curricula. which means that congregational covenants prior to that time, even though there are many examples, were actually an exception to the rule and not the norm itself. And I find myself in this story as well. I remember growing up a Unitarian Universalist in central Pennsylvania. When I was in 7th grade, which corresponds with the late 1990s, I began 7th grade in 1997. All of a sudden, we were being asked to do covenants in RE, and I thought it was this newfangled thing that I had no idea why we were doing it. I thought it was silly. I had no idea what it had to do with our history, with our theology, with how we understood ourselves in community. But again, that's a story I told myself. That's a story that I told that had very little to do with our theological history or our collective religious practice. And that's why I keep coming back to that in the end, a powerful promise is simply a story that you, that I, that we tell so frequently, that we speak it, that we live it, we dance it, that we community build it into being. And these stories will take many different forms. These stories will take forms of hope and despair. They will take the form of aspiration and dashed hopes. They will take the form that only you will know, because you will dance it, sing it, speak it, community build it into being. And I pray, I hope, I urge you not to tell a story of broken promises and what ifs. I want for all of you to tell a story that is of bold hopes and dreams, one of collective action and movement toward a shared cause. I want you to tell a story that places everyone at the center of collective liberation. The story you will tell, I hope, will be a declaration of the liberal religion that is a revelation that is not sealed, that is a courageous proclamation, an awakening that we can keep telling the story over and over again until it becomes so contagious that all we can do is dance into the telling of the story. I hope that you will tell a story that is the same story, the ones that has the broken promises and dreams, the story that connects us to the Puritans, the Pilgrims, who were not such kind people, but makes good on what they could not do. I want you to tell the same story, only better, not write a new chapter in that story. And so this is the promise. This is the practice of making powerful promises. It's a story that you all will tell. It's a story that I will help tell with you. It's a story for the ages that all of Unitarian Universalism will be embraced in. The story you will tell is one I can't wait to hear. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.